Hi, this is Judy from Fox Cities Quilt Company, and this is Sunday from the Sewing Room, where we give you tips, tricks, and a few tutorials to help you with your sewing and quilting projects. If you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button below. Today, I want to talk to you about quilting cottons and probably something that you don't know about me. Yes, my husband and I own a quilt shop, which is mainly geared to quilting and making those types of things, quilting, bags, table runners, wall hangings, those type of things that are generally pieced. But my first love was always garment sewing. I was hooked on garments from my very first home ec class in the 7th grade. I made and it was the 70s, and I made the obligatory peasant top. You know the one where it's just non-structured and it had elastic around the neck and it had the big poofy sleeves with elastic around the wrist. I made one of those. I remember distinctly that it was red, and I remember that I wore it a lot. I was probably, no, not probably, I was not the most fashionable kid in school, never was. But I really loved making that top. My grandmother had a sewing machine and she made things as well. She made utilitarian things like curtains and stuff like that. And I remember her letting me use her old Singer sewing machine that probably weighed 45 pounds, but was really, really built. So today I want to talk to you about the cottons that you get at your local quilt shop. They're fantastic for making garments. There are many things that you can make with them, and one of my favorite things is Aline skirts or tops. Super simple to make. And I love garment sewing also because, believe it or not, it is way more forgiving than quilting. If you get one seam off on, let's say, one side of your top and the other seam is maybe not the same size, all it's going to do is adjust your top maybe 1/8 of an inch or whatever it is that you're off, and nobody is going to know that when you're wearing it because it's draping. But if you get 1/8 of an inch off on 8 seams in quilting, your quilt is now 1 inch off, and that's just not the way it is in garment sewing. So if you are afraid to garment sew, please remember it is way more forgiving than quilting. So one of my favorite things to get when I do garment sewing is books. I love books that will allow you to take one pattern and make several different options of that one pattern. We can get patterns at the big box stores, the Simplicity patterns, Vogue, so on. And they give you 4 or 5 views of things that you do. Commonly, it's actually commonly 3 to 4 views of what you could do. So even though that pattern might be $16, $18, and then they have the tissue paper in them, they're very difficult to adjust, and they are typically not easy to trace. But when you have a book, you generally get copy papered patterns that you can adjust and you can make your own. So there's a couple of books I am going to show you right here. One book that I have is called from Jonah, and I can't pronounce her last name, but it is Make Your Own Aline Skirt. In this, you make one fitting pattern and then you can make several different options. So in here, this book has about 16 or 18 different views, and the price of the book was $20. So that is about $2 per pattern. That is a great price. And also in here, it tells you exactly how to make your simple skirt, and it tells you how to cut it and how to fit it, and then you will always have one pattern. So let me show you. Like, for instance, here's an A-line skirt and it has this cute little pleat in here. In here she will show you that you have your simple A-line skirt and how to add this pleat so you can have a different color in there. That is super cute. I want to show you that up close. The other one that I thought was, called a contrast pleat. The other one that I thought was really, really cute is you just take your bottom layer, your simple A-line skirt, and you add a lace over the top. How pretty is that? So those are just two things out of a book that costs $19.95. You know, if you make 4 or 5 things out of here, the sky is the limit. And you, not only that, but you can also make skirts for those little ones, because that would be even simpler. I want to show you this. This is super cute. So all this is a quilting cotton, and all she's done is add a bias tape here, as well as a different cotton here, and then a bias tape down here. That is so easy to do. So this is one of my favorite books here. I have made several skirts in this book. Most of the time they're pretty simple, and because I like simple. This one is super cute too, and all it has is patch pockets on it. Very, very easy to do. Then the other thing, my favorite thing in the entire world to make is tunics. I love tunics because they look great on all ages and all sizes, and they never go out of style. So I want to show you my very favorite book on the planet, and it is called The Tunic Bible. So this book retails for $29.95, but the sky is the limit in this book. And let me show you just a couple of things that I have made with this. The first thing that I made, and I think, first of all, you're going to say, what's a tunic? Well, a tunic is a very unstructured top garment that you put over your head. Okay, that's all there is to it. So even my husband has a tunic. It is made out of like a twill fabric, and it has a front pocket like a sweatshirt does. It has a long sleeve that is unstructured. It just hangs. It doesn't have a cuff on it, but you can put a cuff on it, and it has a hood. Now, it is, we call it a hoodie, but make no mistake, because there's no band at the bottom, it is a tunic. So one of the things that I made here, and I will show this to you, this is from Anna Maria Horner's Cotton Fabrics, and this is a tunic that I made. And this has a bib placard here, and then I added the same fabric from the same line to the edge of the sleeve, and I added it to the bottom of the tunic to give it a little extra length. I love this. This is from Free Spirit Fabrics. I forget the name of the line of the fabric, but it is, both of these fabrics are from the same line. All I did was take a large print for the body of the tunic, and I took a smaller print for the bib placard, and then I added it onto the end. I love this. It is unstructured in the back. There's a couple of darts in the bust, which they show you in the book, but they're very, very simple to do. Love this tunic. I get so many compliments on this tunic. Also, this is just a simple binding for the neck that goes all the way around. And if you're a quilter, you already know how to do a binding. It's pretty simple. The other thing that I made out of the very same book is just a shift dress. Now, make no mistake, this is a tunic. It's just longer. So I made this. This is just stinking adorable. I made this. This is called Atlantis. This is a jersey knit. And all I did was I bound the neck, just used a round neck. I made short sleeves. But the only thing that I had to do was add some darts in the back to give it some shape. I see if you can see that. This fabric is in our store. We do have some jersey knits in our store. And this is super, super easy to make. And it's super comfortable as well. So in this Tunic Bible, let me grab the book again. There are so many different kinds of necklines that you can make. And I want to show you that once I got my self-fitted, and all I did was fit the front and the back. I didn't have to put in any sleeves. I saved that pattern and I put it onto freezer paper. I traced it onto freezer paper so that when I want to make the basic front and back of my tunic, all I have to do is iron this onto my fabric and cut it out. Now, freezer paper is fantastic for patterns because you iron it right on and then it stays put. And then when you're done, you can peel it off and then just use it again. It's fantastic. So I made my front and back with freezer paper. The very first time I made the tunic, I made the front and back out of just a simple, cheap muslin so that I made sure that it fit. No problem. The pattern pieces for the tunic are on copy paper. They're on great big pieces of copy paper. So you could, and they're full size. So you don't have to tape everything together in order to trace your size. I love being able to trace my size because if I go up or down a size, I haven't cut this apart and I can just make another one. Then let me show you also that in this book, there are so many different ways that you can make this. There are all these different necklines, there are all these different sleeves, and there are all these different lengths. So when I made the tunic first, I made this one first, and all I did to make my shift dress was I just added 14 inches onto the length of the tunic that I had already cut out. It was so simple. Then the next thing that I did was I chose my neckline, and I really liked that bib placard because I wanted to break up that big bold print with something a little smaller. So I chose that bib placard, and I'm going to flip through this book so that you can see all of the different necklines that you can do. So there's a band collar. You could do different collars. You can do different necklines. Look at these. These are fantastic. All of this is in one book. So if you took this book, look how beautiful that is in white. If you took this book and you made every option in here, which would make over 40 different tunics, and you divide that by 20 bucks, you know, 20 cents per pattern, that's pretty simple to do. I do want to show you too that it makes the most awesome dress. Long sleeves, short sleeve, 3/4 sleeves, it doesn't matter. This is a really great book, and I really want you guys to take a look at this and consider garment sewing. So the reason that I like quilting cottons for garment sewing is because, well, first of all, they're fantastic. So many times you go into a quilt shop and you see all of these beautiful quilts, but you also might see some big, bold fabrics or busy fabrics, and you're like, what do I do with that? Well, why not make a garment, make a skirt, make a top, make a tunic? So I want to show you what I am working on next. I am going to be making another tunic. I am going to be making, I'm going to flip through here so you can see. I am going to be making, every time I flip through here, I just see something that is, one thing that is more cute than the other. I am going to be making not quite such a big bib placard. I'm just going to be making a front-facing placard that will be more narrow, like this. And then I'm just going to be doing a simple cuff collar, and I'll show you what that cuff collar looks like. So this is the one that I showed you before. I made that one. And now let me show you the cuff collar that I am going to make as I flip through this book. So when you go into your quilt shop and you see those big bold fabrics, don't just think quilts. Think of all of the other things that you could do with it. So I'm going to be making this inside fit or the outside facing placard, and then I am going to be making what they call the cuff collar, which will look like that, and it's a little smaller. So basically this tunic. So we had a fabric come in from Anna Maria Horner again. Yeah, you could tell I love her. And this is from the collection called Our Fair Home. So isn't this beautiful? The colors are fantastic. The reason that I like this and the other tunics is, number one, you can wear them with anything. Pants, jeans, leggings, shorts, the sky is the limit. So I wanted to show you that I am going to be making another tunic with this fabric. This will be my placard in the front, but it won't be quite so wide. I love the stripe on here, and this is from Tula Pink's Basics. This is called Tiny Stripes, and I didn't want this collar to be a stripe. I'm just going to use a solid, because if those solids don't line up, it'll make me crazy. So that's what I am making next. So when you go into your quilt shop and you see all of these fantastic cottons, don't just think quilt, think garments. And grab a book. In your quilt shop, they'll tell you which one. I love this one. And make yourself something other than a quilt. See if you like it. It's a great way to broaden your horizons and have a one-of-a-kind item. This is Judy from Fox Cities Quilt Company, and I'm talking about the Tunic Bible and garment sewing from quilting cottons from quilt shops. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great day. Bye-bye.